I'm attorney Ben Schwartz. Today we're going to talk about cycling safety. We're going to do a series, a 5-part series on bicycle accidents, personal injury cases resulting from bicycle accidents. And what I want to do before we get started is introduce you to my bike. At one point, long ago, I was a competitive amateur cyclist. I raced in Europe. I was in Belgium for a while. I raced in the United States as well. I went to the junior nationals and actually won the time trial, and if I hadn't disqualified myself because I realized that I made a wrong turn out on the course, I would be a national champion. Anyways, at one point my life was not the life of a trial lawyer. At one point my life was the life of a competitive international cyclist, and so I wanted to introduce you to my last racing bike. This is the last racing bike that I rode. This is a San Rensho handmade Japanese frame, and it's a beautiful bike. A little outdated at this point because I stopped racing probably about 22 or 23 years ago, but it's a great bike. So what I want to do as a first video in the series is answer a question from Ron in Wilmington, Delaware. He says, when I'm driving, there are always these cyclists in the road. Why can't they just get on the sidewalk? And I've heard this question asked to me as an attorney, to me as a cyclist numerous times, and the answer is because you can't ride a bike on the sidewalk if it's a bike like this. If you're 5 years old and you're riding your tricycle, that's appropriate to ride on the sidewalk. But if you're 20 or 25 or 30 years old, you're an adult, you're riding a racing bicycle, or what people would refer to as a 10-speed or a road bike, it's not appropriate to ride on the bike because you're going to hit someone and you're going to injure them. You're going to hit a pedestrian and you're going to injure them, or you're going to run over a child, or you're going to cause some damage, you're going to cause some harm. These bikes, typically you're riding anywhere between 20 and 30 miles an hour. And if you're a 200 and something pound man, that is a lot of force if you run over a child, or you hit a dog, or you hit an older person who's walking on the sidewalk. So the law is that if you're a cyclist, you have a right to use the road. And essentially, if you're a motorist, what you need to know is the law requires you to share the road with cyclists, which creates all kinds of issues. But just as the first video in this series, I think it's important to know if you are a motorist, you have an obligation to share the road with cyclists, and it's something to keep in mind while you're out driving around. Try not to get too angry at the cyclists who get in your way. I'm attorney Ben Schwartz. Keep watching. We're going to have a series of videos on bicycle accidents, personal injury cases relating to bicycle accidents, and if you have any questions about this topic or any topic pertaining to the law, send me an email. I'm at ben.schwartz@schwartzandschwartz.com.